again. This YouTube video is going to be about how to make your beauty business legit. Okay, most of these tips can be used for any business really, but there are some points that are specific to the more of the beauty business, just because of the regulations and everything. But I feel like any business can take some of these tips and go with it as well. So let's get to it. So the first tip I have is to register your business. I know this sounds like common sense, but trust me, when I look on my pages and especially on Facebook, I see a lot of businesses that aren't registered through their state. And I say this is an important way to make it legit because there are certain things that you can do as a legal registered business that you can't do, and certain protection that you have as well as a legal registered business that you can't have if you aren't registered through your state. So, okay, business tip number 2 is to sign up for your taxes. And that's for federal taxes and for your state and local taxes. So there are some brands that they won't sign up for taxes. And even though I guess some of them may not get caught doing that, it is a possibility. I've gotten audited last year just because my tax had changed from getting a payroll to working for myself. So I think that they kind of caught that in the system and they had to audit, and I had to get prepared to send out all of my legit information, all of my write-offs and everything. So it is important to sign up for your taxes because it's possible they can catch you if you haven't been paying taxes with your business. So get that in check. Business tip number 3, which is one of the main ones that I stress. Oh my goodness, get a website, sis. Get a website. Please get a website. There are some websites that are free. Big Cartel is one of them that I know that are free up to, I think, like 5 items. So if you're not generating enough money to pay for a website, say like Shopify, is one that I use, and it's about like $30-$40 a month. So if you're not generating enough income to pay for one, I would definitely suggest doing Big Cartel. That's the main one. That's the one that I started off with because I was basically starting in the negative. So I started off with 5 items, and it's really not a bad thing to start off with less. I see some businesses, especially beauty brands and cosmetic brands, they want to start from nothing but have like 20 different products because they think they're going to make more money with having a bunch of different products. But I'll tell you that having more products does not necessarily mean that you'll make more money. I made, I think, about like $1,000 during my launch. Within that week, I made about $1,000 in my launch. And I think I started with 5 or less products. I think it might have been less than 5. So don't overwhelm yourself. Start with a few. Get that free website. It's not hard, but that's one of the main things because people aren't going to trust you, especially people that you don't know aren't going to trust you with, like a Cash App payment or PayPal payment when you're trying to do business through DMs, which is fine to do business through DMs because I get a lot of sales through DMs of people asking me questions, but I always direct them to my link. And I think that's what brings the sale in because they see my website, they see that I have a professional site for all of my products and a secure checkout. Business tip number 4, and this is another one that I stress, is to look up FDA regulations on what you're making. So there are certain regulations on what you can say on a label, and then there are certain dyes and different things, natural ingredients that you shouldn't use in specific parts of your body. I know there's some dyes that you can use on your lips, but you maybe can't use it for eyeshadow. So if you don't look these things up, it can really put a dent into what you're doing or what you're making, especially if you get sued. So if you're using something that can irritate your eyes that you're not supposed to be using and they find out, then that's a big issue because this is FDA regulations. And another one that I see more often is that some businesses won't have ingredients anywhere to be seen. There's no ingredients on a website because they probably don't have a website. Get back to tip number 3, get a website. So they don't have it on their website, they don't have it on their products, or they don't have it anywhere that's sent with their products at all. So how are you supposed to know if you're allergic to something, you know, what they have in it? And the feedback that I got from some of the startup businesses is that they don't want someone else to take their ingredients that they're using. And I mean, you just can't do that. You have to have ingredients somewhere. And FDA on their website, and I'll link their site below. Yeah, I'll put it in the comment or in the description section. So with FDA, there's certain things that you have to put on certain parts of your label. And then another thing that you can do is to look at something that you have that you're wanting to sell. Like when I started making moisturizers, I had a moisturizer that I bought from a different company. And so I just looked to see what all they had on their label, and I mimicked that for my own ingredients and my own, you know, whatever it is, your expiration date, which is another thing that you should have on there. So just look up their FDA, click on the link that I'll put down below, and that'll help you get an idea of what you can put on your products and what you should and shouldn't be using. Okay, my last tip is to brand properly. Okay, and that means you need to figure out who your audience is. You need to figure out what colors you want to use, what color scheme you want to use, and you also have to figure out, you know, what kind of flair you're going to have, and you have to stay consistent as well. So when you pick colors, make sure you pick a color that exudes what you want to portray. Who's your audience? So for my brand, I try to do more of like a youthful, luxurious type of feel. So I put in some pops of gold. I have pink as the background. And then also you can use inspiration from other beauty brands. You can look on Instagram or on certain websites of popular brands and kind of see what they're doing and get a feel of that. If you see a lot of brands that are similar to yours using pastels, then maybe it would be a good idea to put in some pastel colors into your brand, because obviously they're doing something right if they're big and successful. You know, they have professional marketers that pick those things out for them. So I would say piggyback off of that and then use that as inspiration. Don't copy, just use it as inspiration. So you really need to know and figure out and write it down who your target audience is, because you need to speak to them when you're putting out posts on Twitter and Instagram. You need to know what your brand is doing. What are they doing outside of beauty products? Are they on YouTube? Are they on TikTok? Are they young, old? Who are you advertising to? So if your target audience is, 18 to 35, do you think that you should be making wrinkle cream right now as your main product? Probably not. You probably don't need to use wrinkle cream right now. So that's something to think about. And I hope that these tips help some young aspiring entrepreneurs out. I just want everyone to strive to be the best. So I hope this helped. Write it down, make it happen. All right. Thank you.